there, so it won't get built in. And this wonderful landscape will be preserved, because there's the jewel in the crown. This is the ballroom, and we always have greenery in the ballroom done by florists, and the fire's going to make people feel warm and welcome. And that's a view out from the ballroom to the cafe. Those doors are actually new. We had those put in about four years ago, and they link the ballroom to the outside, and they're just so useful. We went to a lot of detail with them. The wood is the same wood as the front doors of the castle. The builders sorted that out. It's eucalypt delicatensis from Tasmania, where it grew much more slowly than on the mainland of Australia, so it's much harder wood. And that's what Larnach built the doors of the castle out of, the outside doors. They call it cedar, but it's not really cedar like a lot of other trees in Australia. It's a gum tree. And these are just some pictures of the garden. These are which taken early in the morning with the sun on the east side. These were taken by Stephen Wooster, an English photographer. We have the Scottish thistle, actually because of Larnach coming, well, his family coming from Scotland, and the Dunedin was settled by Scottish, but that thistle does worry farmers. So, he says, who's, are you a gardener? They say to him, yes. He says, we need to do something about that thistle. There's some trees, some Dutch people, there's colour scheme, because he said, it's not how we do it in Holland. That's the way the plants put together in the colours, and then they decided that they called it New World, a New World colour scheme. And some of the flowers that we grow there. And there were figures from Alice in Wonderland in the garden, which I think Mrs. Purdy got, or two little figures. So when we do something new, we need something else in the garden, we want to go and look at Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and that gave me the idea for that chair. It's a very large chair. We made a template first to get the proportions right and also the height right. And that's a bellbird and a rata, and of course the birds in the garden are one of the wonderful facets of it. And you'll see it's got blue pollen on its beak. That's from the fuchsia. And that's the laburnum arch. There's something strange about this picture. It changes colour. The laburnum gets more golden. And then looking the other way, out to Saddle Hill from the laburnum arch. And that's looking down from the tower. That's how the garden looks now, with the heather out and the pink blobs, the little purple blobs, Thalictrum delavei, Hewitt's double. And that's one of the statues. I think Mrs. Purdy put that one there. The Duchess from Alice in Wonderland. And of course you had a Cheshire cat made. It's amazing that story's travelled the world as well, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It's amazing who's there, not just people from English-speaking countries, but from all over the world. And for having been at the castle for 40 years, we had a bronze Alice made, and that's the Alice, with of course the roses, because she plays croquet in the rose garden with a flamingo from a mallet, not a very good mallet. And of course nowadays the castle's used for all sorts of things. That's children coming along and dressing up, and castle care, so they have fun at the castle, because we like to see people enjoying themselves at the castle. And this is tastings at the garden, our food festival, being across from the azaleas. That's our outdoor cafe, and that was when we had the food festival on the lawns. And this is the South Seas garden, done because you look out to the sea. It's that wonderful, wonderful view across to Broad Bay. Michael Stedman of Natural History said it's one of the great views of the world, and we should know. So this is the castle today. It's part of the lives of many, many people, because we have lots of weddings and we like to think that people enjoy it and it becomes special in their life because they have their momentous occasions at the castle. This is another wedding, a Turritt and Sullivan wedding this one. It's a bride coming into the ballroom. It's a ballroom at night. And then each year we have the winter ball where, oh, that's from a masquerade, and that's a masquerade. People get up to all sorts of things. But this is the winter ball, and each year we have the winter ball. We've been having that for about 25 or 26 years now, and people get dressed up in Victorian costumes and then do these dances that they did in Victorian days, and it gives people the opportunity to relive life as it was 100 years ago. And of course part of that is the haggis ceremony. Another great Scottish tradition which it's also come to Dunedin. And that's the lodge which we built in the grounds, and it has a wonderful sea views, and this means that people can stay in the garden. This is one of the bedrooms on the right. That's the lodge as it's seen from the tower. So the lodge gets that wonderful view. It's not all the lodge rooms. And our newest purchase is Camp Estate. We bought some property next door with this house on, which had been on the market for some years. And of course we were pleased because we were returning to this land to the council property, and we called it Camp Estate because it was part of the Camp Estate. And it also had the water rights, the rest of the water rights, so we didn't have to share the water. So this can also be used for weddings and for people to stay. So in this way the castle can be shared with many people, and they can stay amongst this magnificent scenery on Otago Peninsula and enjoy all that Dunedin has to offer, which of course is quite unique, both the scenic values and the wildlife. Just the jewel in Dunedin's crown, the peninsula, and the castle, which of course, as I say, it's 140th birthday this year. So I'll leave you with these views of the castle as it is today. Back to where I began. Are there any questions at all?
Do you know anything about the history of the methane plant?
Oh, well, yes. Yes, the stable manure, that's a little building right behind the castle, shaped like a cross. And there's drains there which drain the stable manure from the stables to a tank underneath that methane plant. And then it was also an 8-holer. Do you know what I mean by that? It was a privy which had 8 holes, and in those days people who had a 2-holer thought they're a bit more posh than someone with a 1-holer, but Larnach being Larnach, he had an 8-holer, and the 2 outside rooms had 4 holes. They were done like that, and there were 2 holes for grown-ups and 2 for children, so it was quite social. And there was also brass ashtrays. So this manure was all collected, and then the methane gas that was formed was mixed with acetylene gas in a big glass bubble, and it was pumped up to the council with a foot pump because it was heavier than air. And we were told about this when we first bought the council by a very elderly gentleman, and he'd been the boy that worked the foot pump. So we got that first hand, heard about it first hand. And he did say that there used to be explosions from time to time. And one time the windows of the study blew out. But we think with oil going up and wars in the Middle East, we might have to bring that plant back again. And if we do, we'll have to ask all our visitors to make a contribution to the fuel crisis.
Now, I just wondered, when you first purchased the castle, it amazed me the beautiful ceilings and all that. What sort of condition were they in when you...
The what?
The ceilings, the plaster ceilings and the wood carving, what sort of condition?
On the top 2 floors, they were, gaping holes and cornices down and so on, but the water hadn't got to the first floor, to the first floor where those magnificent ceilings are, fortunately. So it was in the top 2 floors that the ceilings were down. And the water had somehow got down and sat underneath the castle. And so there was rotting sort of from the bottom up and the top down, but the first floor, fortunately, was the floor that was the best off. And we, of course, fixed the roofs was the first job that we did. I won't go into all of that, it's all a hugely long story. And we also replaced doors on the bottom floor. That's why I showed you that photograph of North's office jacked up, because the floors were jacked up and the beams replaced. We put in little plates and throughout the floors, well, here and there in strategic places, which means that if it does get down, which it actually shouldn't, but if there is any moisture, more of the air can circulate. There's plates in the ceilings that circulated air, but we've, as I say, put in more in some of the floors to just keep the air moving.
The staircase that goes to the tower, that runs all the way down, because there's a lot of passageway, a lot of space between the rooms. You'd assume in some other castles that I've been to, they have a staircase that goes from their tower and runs all the way down. Does the same occur at the Larnach Castle?
You mean the staircase from the tower?
Yeah, the one that leads up to the tower. There's like,
no, it just goes that far. No, it goes that far and the other staircase in a different position.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you
room
mean?
between those extra rooms, though?
No, it's not the same staircase.
Not the same staircase.
No, and there's only one staircase, because usually a house that size, or even smaller, you have 2, but there is only one staircase throughout the centre of the building, which means that visitors or whatever be going up and down the same stairs as the servants, carrying whatever else.
One other question, the clock down the bottom, is from the 1700s. Do you have an exact date, the clock, as you enter?
Just can't remember offhand. Actually, I bought that in York.
Because that's the only thing that's older than the
England. Yes. I got that in York, in England, because New Zealand was a bit short of long case clocks, and that's where I got that and had it shipped back.
When did you purchase it?
So
it was obviously
late 70s, I think, quite a while ago.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to find out that date for a long time.
Yeah. Just can't quite remember. I think I did know. Yeah, it is older than the castle. It is quite an old clock. But we think, anyway, that Larnach, when he finished his house, he wouldn't have necessarily had everything new, although he did get a lot of furniture made. But I mean, any house, not everything's new. Well, especially in those days. I mean, nowadays people perhaps more inclined to have everything new, but certainly traditionally, you wouldn't have everything new.
And the original, like the chandeliers are all original?
No.
They're not?
No, that one, there was in one of those black and white pictures showed that was an original one, and we bought that back at auction in Timaru, and we traced its history back, and that was a gas chandelier.
That's the one that had the big
Yes, it's got the tax on it, yes, but the others are Victorian chandeliers, but they're not original, but they are Victorian chandeliers. They're all things that we've got back, except the big one in the ballroom we got bought on the internet, because the previous one we had came down. I won't go into that too much, but it did come down anyway. And the big one in the ballroom here was bought on the internet, and it actually came from Chicago, and it's all quite an interesting exercise because it depended on currencies and all sorts of things as to how we bought that and so on.
Has anyone else got any questions about it?
Yeah, I'd just like to know, did Larnach ever keep a record of all the staff that used to work there?
If you did, it got the toss. They had a room which was a muniments room where stuff was stored, and when the government bought it, they started going through it, and for some reason they decided to give the stuff the toss, which is pretty disappointing because it's a family history of, there were several hundred people involved, you know, even in Larnach's time. It's
just that we were always,
their family history as well. It just got tossed.
we were always told that, like, that my grandmother was Mrs. Larnach's maid, but we don't know if it's first or second.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's unfortunate that they say it was tossed. The records were tossed.
Sorry, one last one, just in regards to the original furnishings of the castle, how many items, like percentage-wise, 20%, have you managed to...
I'd have to go through and count, but actually most rooms have got something.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah, we listed in the brochure, I think, we well.
There's a lot of gifts from the Chinese that were given to Larnach.
Well, he was free with the Chinese, yes. We saw Sue Hoy's at his funeral. Yeah.
Would you do it all over again?
Well, that's, I don't think about that sort of thing because it's you do what you do. Did you want to know something?
I was wondering what attempts have been made at putting a garden before you were arrived?
To what?
To putting a garden to the extent that you have done. What attempts have been made to do that before you actually came?
The Poody's had a garden in the 30s, Mrs. Jackson Poody, but Larnach didn't really garden as such. He put in shelter trees close to. Yeah, he was a tree planter.
Would Sophie and Northam ever go and take the castle over themselves? Hence, they were brought up
It's,
the castle?
it's in a trust at the moment.
Okay, so
It's in a trust.
they don't want to live there one day and bring up their children?
Well, it's too much of it's open to the public now.
Yeah.
They have a small apartment there still, but it's, you couldn't put a family in it.
No.
That's sort of the big sacrifice is you open it up and have all these things go and share it, and you end up with not a lot yourself.
We have time for one more question.
Can I ask one? Oh, sorry.
No.
Okay. My question is, which do you think is more important, a love of history or a love of restoration? Because it seems to me they obviously go hand in hand, but does one sort of win out in your mind over the other?
I think it's a specific place. To sum it up.
Thank you.
Great job.
Which is all of those things.
The cupola, is that, you know, these 5 ships that are sunk on in the mold, the core Polina, is that the Polina that you were referring to, or is it, it is that? Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you very much, Margaret. That was wonderful. Could everyone please give